So most people tend to think that the only way you can actually get cash back, meaning you get money for spending money, is by having a credit card, but then you run the risk that you actually overspend, then you have to pay interest, now you're in debt. Well, what if I told you that there are actually some debit cards out there that actually give you cash back? Now, let's go over these debit cards, because these debit cards, guess what? It's impossible to overspend on a debit card because the money that's in there is fully your money. So you can't go into debt basically spending your money. You're just going to go straight to zero. We don't want that either, okay? But it's a cool way to actually, earn some money from your money if you're just going to be using a debit card. So the first one, and one of my favorite ones, is actually the Discover It debit card. This is actually it right here. This is my Discover It debit card. I had to go pick it up, but it is an amazing debit card. More info, Tommy, take it away. Now, this Discover It debit card is actually a cashback card. And the cool feature is that basically you actually earn 1% for spending your own money. But as always, there are some caveats here and there. And it's basically you only get 1% on up to $3,000 worth of purchases every single month. And for the most part, I don't really know anyone that literally spends that much money every month, because 3 times 12 is about $36,000. If you earn 1% of that, you're making about like $360. It's not really that much money whatsoever. But for the most part, if you are spending that much money, well, at least you get some money back. And for me personally, if I spend about $1,000 per month and I earn 1%, well, that's like $10 a month. And that's enough for me to basically pay my phone bill. Yeah, you heard me right. My phone bill, which is with Tello, is about like $6 or so. So it actually earns me more than enough to actually pay my phone bill and everything else, So for the most part, it's a cool little debit card with a feature to actually get cash back. And by the way, for all the people that tend to think, Tommy, but with a credit card, I can earn 2% cash back. Remember, okay? To actually justify basically a credit card in a way, if you spend $30,000 and you earn, for example, 1%, that's $300. If you earn 2%, that's like $600, and now you have maybe potentially a bunch of money in debt. Also, you might have missed some payments, you might have overspent. So the point is, for me, it's just not worth the headache of having credit cards. By the way, I don't have a single credit card whatsoever. And my goal is to basically erase my credit score, but that's another video for another day. Now, number 2, and my second favorite debit card, is going to be the Sofi Money debit card. And here is my Sofi debit card. I've literally used it so much, the plastic around is actually coming off. The numbers are very visible, and I'm gonna have to order a new one, but I've had it for a very long time. And by the way, the thing that you actually use to actually swipe the credit card, it's basically starting to tear off, as you can see right here. That's how long and how much I've actually used this debit card for. Now back to you, Tommy. This is one I also have, okay? And by the way, be careful, because if you actually go on the Discover website and they're taking application for the cashback debit card, I recommend you actually apply, because I waited for like about a year or two to actually apply, because applications were actually closed for a while and they were not letting people get in, okay? So if it's open, take advantage. I recommend it overall, okay? But you do it if you want to. That's the idea. I'm not sponsored by them. I don't get paid by them. I'm just telling you what I like, okay? Now, number 2 is going to be the Sofi Money debit card. Now, by the way, while I take my cheese break, I want you guys to do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel if so far you got value, because only about 20% of you guys are actually subscribed that actually watch my content. So subscribe right now, because I have more value on the way. Now, number 2 is going to be the Sofi Money debit card. This debit card, when it originally came out with a crazy cool feature, which is basically worldwide ATM withdrawals. Well, worldwide free ATM withdrawals, okay? So I'm still a member, like an early adopter, so I still have this feature. So whenever I use an ATM, they have to give my money back. So whether I am in the US or whether I'm in, for example, the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico or anywhere in the world, I get automatically my ATM fees reimbursed. And to me, that is an awesome feature. But more than that, let's say you actually can't get that, and you probably can't because that's basically been ended. you could actually get a decent high yield savings on your check-ins account money. That's the cool feature in a way. So let's say, for example, you have $1,000. You know, one good thing that I can say about SoFi Money is that their rates are always competitive and they're always changing in a way. So if interest rates basically go up, they will usually give you a little bit more money. If they go down, obviously they're going to give you less money, you know, because they are competitive. That means on the way up and also means on the way down. All right. So that's one big thing. But right now, they're earning about 4.50%, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, you are mistaken. It is actually 4.60%, and you're actually able to earn 15% in your local area. That's better than 1% or 3%. And on top of that, you get paid 2 days early. You get $2 million in FDIC insurance. And lastly, no overdraft fee and also no account fees. So you are mistaken, but yes. It might be more potentially. I haven't checked in a while. But yeah, they earn about 4.50%. And a good feature that I actually love about this debit card is that it actually allows you to have different savings goal. So you can have, for example, your main account where the money comes in, and then within the same SoFi app, which also has an app, by the way, you're actually able to create sub accounts. Like, for example, an account for saving up for PlayStation 3 or an iPhone or a computer or your emergency money or whatever it is, okay? And you're able to have that money separated. And whenever you spend money on the debit card, if you run out of money, you could set it up so it takes money out from those accounts, or you could set it up that if you run out of money on the debit card, you're not allowed to actually take money from over there, which is something that I actually like a lot, okay? But to move money from your main account over to sub accounts, it is instant, okay? Whether you're sending money or whether you're receiving money, because at the end of the day, it is still in the same account. And by the way, yes, all of these accounts are basically FDIC insured, so don't worry about that. I think SoFi is up to $1 million potentially, because sometimes they have like multiple accounts and so on. So up to $1 million, and Discover is like up to $250,000 because they don't have, for example, any other banks that are associated with them, because it's basically their own bank. I said that too fast, okay? Let me slow down there, okay? Discover is not associated with any other banks, so it's only up to $250K because it is their bank. While SoFi might have other banks associated with them, thus if you have 4 banks and they're all FDIC insured, that means you have $1 million. That is the idea, but me saying it in slow-mo. Now, the last bank is actually going to be, or the last debit card is going to be the Chime debit card. This debit card gets you paid 2 days early, has over 60,000 free ATMs to choose from, and lastly, it also has a credit builder account and also has a few other features. It's like a company that is basically an online bank, but they're building out their platform. They listen a lot to their customers, and they're basically adding more features, you know, every so often, okay? So it's one of those accounts that I personally don't have, but I do recommend it because the features that they actually have, if I were having, for example, like a normal job and I wanted to build credit, which by the way, I don't care about credit. I just told you I want to be invisible when it comes to credit. But if I cared about those things, those are things that I'd be worried about, and they actually have that available. So it's pretty cool. So overall, guys, that's basically it. You have Discover, you have SoFi, you have Chime, all great accounts. But for the most part, a lot of these features, they tend to be gimmicks, but take full advantage of them if you do need them. For me personally, I just use SoFi and I use Discover, and I even have Chase. I'm gonna cancel that account out because I don't need it for the most part. But yeah, that's basically it, okay? But thanks for watching, guys. If you have other interesting debit cards that you actually know about or heard about or want me to review, comment them down in the comments down below, and that way I might review them on the channel. Who knows? And by the way, this video is made possible by the supporters over at Patreon. I appreciate you guys a ton, and here you guys actually are. So if you want to join us and support us over at Patreon and get discounts and get to talk to me and get promoted here on the channel, then feel free to do so. The link is going to be down below. As always, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. Up here is another video. Over here is my face. And as always, long-term team officially out.